Welcome to another episode of How It Works. My name is Ken Baker from Green Pro Solutions. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the fill system. The fill system is on a 5500 Chevy Hinu unit. It's a boxed unit. We call this the Titan 2. It has a volume about 800 gallons. So you may have a truck similar to this. The fill systems are typically the same in all of them. You may have a bigger box, smaller box, but the fill system, this type of fill system you may have on your unit. There's usually two different types that we use. We use this air gap system here, brass air gap, or we use another where you actually have a space of 4 inches and there's a top fill. And we talked about that in one of our other episodes. This fill system consists of an outside 2-inch fill coupler. You can actually use a stream pump. You can use a hydrant meter. You can even use your garden hose from your home. We just use different adapters that we put on the cam coupler to reduce it to whatever your needs are in the field. What this does, it goes from here up through the deck. It goes up to the brass air gap that you see on top there, and it comes down the other side to this valve. Now that air gap is universally accepted in most states. You'd have to check with your local ordinances, but that's been passed for the most part to where all that's doing, that brass ball valve is higher than your highest tank. So it's actually literally providing an air gap. So the water from the tanks, if they were to come up, it won't exceed the top of that air gap system to protect any spillage. So this valve here, when you put your water source here, you would open this valve and the water would go up, come back down through this 2-inch tiger hose. It comes around the back, and it comes in right here in this manifold here to the bottom of the suction. And then it fills this cavity here, and depending on which valve you open up is where the water is going to go. Now you have the option on this manifold or this manifold to open up the 110 and the 55, and it will fill both of those at the same time as you're filling through the fill system. It will go into this chamber and fill both of them. There's also a linking system that we've talked about in another episode where so you don't have to have the fill system over on this one because you have a link system. All you have to do is open up your suction here and the water will go into this chamber, go over here through the link all the way over to here, and then you can do the same thing. You open up your 400 and your 200 and they can fill simultaneously if you choose to. Most people end up using the nursing tank, as we talked in another episode, where they use that as a nursing tank and they pull from there to the other tanks if they want to. But for filling purposes, you can use a link system or you can shut the link system off and just fill one side, if you will. What's very important after you get done your tanks and things filled, this valve here needs to be shut. It's probably one of the top 5 reasons why a system won't work after they fill it. Now there's this valve to open up, but there's also a valve here just to close so the residual water that's left in the vertical part doesn't spill out onto the street. It's water, but there's a valve here. This one can be left open. It's not going to do anything. This one here, if you don't close, you're leaving an open gap, meaning if you leave that open, when the pump is activating, it's sucking from this tube. And if that's open, it's going to suck air, and you'll never get suction from your pump. So you need to make sure that this valve is shut when you use the fill system. So now, again, it's a very simple process. Again, we have fork fittings on the connectors to if you ever need to change hose, replace, drain, or winterize. So again, this is the fill system. Thank you for joining us for another episode of How It Works.